Welcome to the Rise of the Moderate podcast, episode 6. I'm recording today when I really don't have time, but gotta just rant a little bit because I'm just feeling legitimately baffled. I'm so upset that I can't even talk. I'm feeling legitimately baffled today by the conservative mind. Like many of you, I've been getting into discussions on social media and absolutely killing my productivity the last few weeks. But yeah, I have been getting into plenty of debates and discussions online. For years, being a moderate, I don't know. I don't know about you. I feel like moderates, we don't traditionally engage in a lot of that stuff. I feel like the debates and discussions, especially the passionate ones online, have always been people who really identify themselves as super conservative or really true blue liberal. And I feel like people who are moderate generally don't engage. At least in terms of me, if I disagreed on a post somebody shared or thought it was wrong, I'd avoid talking politics. I'd let them have their opinion. I'd be polite. Figure it's just better not to engage and instead remain friendly and respect their opinion, right or wrong. But that's changed. At least with me, I feel it has changed. With the election of Donald Trump, a man who is spectacularly unqualified to be president, that has changed my opinion about engaging, especially and this election, and the fact that this election was largely driven on fake and misleading news. Given that, I feel, even as moderate, I just can't remain silent. I feel like I have to speak up when I see somebody share fake news, and even engage when it's not necessarily fake news, but they share a post that I disagree with. But now that I'm engaging with these people, I'm finding that with conservatives, it isn't a matter of necessarily disagreeing on philosophy or approach. I find that we're disagreeing on basic facts and what they mean. As a matter, I've disagreements with liberals on many issues, things like fiscal restraint and many foreign policy issues, the minimum wage, and much more. But but when I'm discussing things with people who are liberal, while we may disagree on philosophy or approach, generally we don't seem to disagree on facts, basic facts. Well, when engaging extreme liberals, yes, there's a question of what facts people choose to accept, and I feel sometimes there is wild conspiracy theories thrown out there, but that's the way it is with any extreme group. When you're dealing with mainstream liberals, I don't seem to have that problem. I feel like we can discuss issues, agree on facts, and debate philosophy and approach and the role of government, but not facts. Now, I got into a discussion recently on Facebook. A friend of mine shared a fake news story, and I corrected him on it by pointing him to I don't know if it was Fact Check or PolitiFact or Snopes or one of those that pretty clearly explained how the fake news story that he had shared was wrong. Now, I think I mentioned it in a previous podcast. This is the same guy who once told me that Republicans had created Social Security, and I had to correct him. And this was some conservative Facebook page that had shared this news article that he had just shared, and it was about the Muslim ban and refugees, and as I pointed out to him, the headline, refugees was misspelled. And that's usually a pretty good indicator that you might not be dealing with a credible source. So that's how these things, this started. And one other thing, in the comment thread, there was a friend of his who said that she voted for Obama his first term, but not his second term, and really liked Trump, and was just so ashamed of how liberals were treating him because conservatives never said the things about Obama as that they're saying about Trump and how rude it was. And I didn't know this woman, and I didn't engage her because at that point I had already said quite a bit on the thread and didn't want to get into it. But I was flabbergasted. I mean, you'd have to be living under a rock to not understand or not have heard the some of the disparaging things that conservatives were saying about Obama right from day one. I mean, you can go on Google and you can find some very disturbing things. So I thought that was something. But anyway, so that led to another Facebook exchange with another mutual conservative friend of ours, and he shared a story supporting Trump, and I'll try to keep this short and not go through every single word and comment, but I brought up Trump and his how he's handling this National Security Council by not having the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff or the director of national intelligence on there, but instead choosing Steve Bannon, the former head of the well-known fake news and misleading news and propaganda site Breitbart, on the National Security Council. A move that just doesn't make any sense. I haven't heard any real justification, a real good argument for it. So I brought that up, asking how he could possibly support that move. And of course, he never addressed it. His response was predictable. He said, if your party hadn't cheated Bernie out of the nomination, you'd have nothing to complain about. And he goes on to say you should give Trump a chance. It's only been 2 weeks, which I think is really, really a great. No, not great. I'm being sarcastic. It's one of those things that Trump supporters have been saying that it just makes me kind of pull my hair out. Just give him a chance. I like to press for details and facts. Give him a chance to do what, and maybe we should talk about what he's trying to do, rather than just holding hands and singing "Kumbaya" like some John Lennon song and just saying "Give Trump a chance." So I responded, obviously, saying, politics isn't black and white. I'm not a Democrat or liberal, or lib, as they like to call it. I'm a moderate, and I kind of explained that. And I again pressed him how he thinks Trump's handling of the National Security Council is anything short of irresponsible and inept. And then with saying give Trump a chance, I told him, if you're on a bus and you see the driver's headed right for a telephone pole, you don't just wait to give him a chance. How long do you propose people should wait before coming to terms with what is glaringly obvious, and was before the election? This man is completely unfit to be commander-in-chief. Oh, and I addressed the give him a chance thing in my comment, saying, I love that. That's rich. Just like conservatives gave Obama a chance. So, again, avoid the facts. He came back saying, I posted something that was positive. that was positive, and you just go off and complain, and so now he's trying to be all positive, and oh yeah, and then he said liberal slash. This is what's going on here. Apparently, the liberal slash moderate side just can't handle the fact that for the first time, a winning candidate has actually followed through on his campaign promises. Whether or not you agree with the man is your choice, but he kept his word. Now, one thing you might notice here is that there are no facts or evidence there's supporting what he's saying. He's essentially talking in bumper sticker phrases here. He's not talking about policy. He's not talking about facts. So I responded, quoting, that liberal moderate side just can't handle the fact for the first winning candidate has actually followed through on his campaign promises. I said, yes, that must be it. We just hate campaign promises, no matter what they are. Or, yeah, I was a little snarky, but I responded, or there are actual issues that are troubling, like putting a guy who ran a fake news site on the National Security Council, or a Muslim ban, despite the fact that there's not one instance of ISIS or Al-Qaeda successfully sending a terrorist over here and committing an act of terrorism since 9/11, proving the Bush-Obama policies were working. Or cozying up to Putin and ignoring and disrespecting your own intelligence agencies. And then I pressed him. How do you defend that? These are hard facts and evidence and actual policy issues. They certainly can't match some attractive idea of campaign promises and someone keeping their word. Again, little snark. Not my best moment, but I really wanted to see how he defended Putin, and I want to see it not just because I know he can't, but personally, I'm always wondering: is there something I'm missing, like for this National Security Council issue, for our relations with Putin and Russia? Is there something I'm missing? You have a vastly different opinion on this. Do you have more information, different information? I honestly want to know. So he responded with a meme saying haters on the left, and very intelligent, in-depth, analytical response. And then of course posted a map of the United States showing what states were red and what states were blue, and saying the people have spoke, a lot of red there. Obviously people feel this is the better option. Apparently you don't agree. And again, I told them it's about details. And this is the sharing of the map. Again, the conservatives, this is a problem there. About getting beyond the surface. Yes, you look at a map, there's a lot of red. But as I told them, empty land doesn't vote. People do. So that map is largely meaningless. It's completely meaningless, to be honest. I don't know about you. I've had the chance to drive across this country from coast to coast, and it's shocking how, once you get away from the coast, just how much just land, empty land there is. So yeah, empty land doesn't vote. People do. And more people voted against Trump. However, he did win fairly. I have not said he's illegitimate, he's completely incompetent, and completely unfit. But he did win fairly. But just because voters chose him doesn't mean they're always right. And unfortunately, most voters don't understand complex issues like foreign policy and economics. And I'm finding out they'd rather not entertain thoughts, evidence, and facts that would make them question their beliefs. So of course, rather than backing up Trump with facts, and his response was, "Yeah, Hillary was a better option." Questioning that, and I've never been a Hillary Clinton fan. I've always felt she was unprincipled and and dishonest for the most, when she has to be, when she feels like she needs to be. But as dishonest and unprincipled as she may be, she wouldn't be putting a fake news guy in the National Security Council, and she wouldn't be calling NATO obsolete, and she wouldn't be allowing Putin to interfere in U.S. politics and letting him think it's okay to invade neighboring countries without there being some cost to him. So yeah, Hillary was a better option, but these people, they're still stuck on this idea, this idea about the emails that has been proven to be fake. So anyway, my friend, he wrote to me and he said, he responded saying, kind of a joke, saying, I appreciate debating with you, and I respect your different opinion, even though your opinion is wrong. and that's fine. And he's not going to get it, and he feels my opinion is wrong. But that's where I'm kind of lost about this, because as a moderate and as a critical thinker, and at least I think I am, I want to know if I'm wrong. I think I'm a critical thinker, and I want to know. I want to know if I'm wrong. I want to know if I'm sharing something, if it's wrong, if it's fake. I also want to know if my opinion on a subject is wrong. I don't want to be wrong. So I say, please provide me evidence, facts, data, anything that proves a different point. I want to know it. I don't care what the solution to an issue is, so long as it is right. And we reach that conclusion by examining the best evidence. And if there's better evidence, I want to know. If Trump really is going to make America great, I want to know. I want to know how he's going to do it. Because what I'm seeing is just the opposite. So prove it to me. Because Hillary, Trump, I don't care. I just want the country to move in a good direction. I want us to move forward, and I want my kids to live in a country that's even better than it is today, and even better than it has been in the past. So show me the evidence. But apparently that's not the way today's conservatives think. They don't care. They reject evidence and data, and without providing any better evidence or their own kind of meat and potatoes response. There's no discussion. It's just a battle. It's just a battle of insults or memes or bumper sticker slogans. There's no interest in a real solution. And there's certainly no willingness to kind of ease a grip on one's own preconceived beliefs. I can't stomach that. I can't stomach that people can be so willfully ignorant. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're not willfully ignorant. Maybe it is true that they are that they're they just don't get it. That maybe people are just profoundly stupid. Maybe some people are just profoundly stupid and can't. I know that's rude. That sounds rude, and it is rude. But quite frankly, I wonder if it's accurate that some people, their brains, their minds, whatever, they can't wrap their minds around evidence that contradicts what they already believe. Whether their mind short circuits or something, I don't know. Maybe not everyone can think critically. But the ones who can, and just choose to ignore evidence that might conflict with their opinion, that willful ignorance, I can't stomach it. I can't stomach how people will hold on to an opinion with a death grip, no matter the evidence. how they'll hold on to something because their team or their brand or their party says it's true, despite all the evidence to the contrary. That is putting party ahead of country, and I can't stand that. And I especially can't stand that it's people who are so quick to put up a flag or a photo of a soldier and wave the flag on a right in your face, or put a meme up about it and say how patriotic they are. They want to put it right in your face about how patriotic they are. But it's a ruse. It's fake. It's a lie. They don't give a damn about the country. They only care about their brand and their party. And that's despicable. And it completely flies in the face of everything our country stands for, and of everything our founding fathers created, and the principles they stood for. Critical thinking isn't that hard. If you think something, question it. Think, why am I thinking that? Is it right? If you share something on social media, ask yourself, is this true? And you answer these questions with evidence. Evidence that stands up to scrutiny. That means that you get evidence, you question that evidence, you question the source of that evidence, you question anything and everything. And if the evidence you have stands up to that, you've got yourself some pretty good evidence. And when you present that evidence to people, you should embrace people challenging it. You should embrace that opportunity, because if it truly is good evidence, it should stand up to any challenge. And if it doesn't, well, it's not good evidence. And you've got to get better evidence. And that's okay, because the ultimate goal here is to get as close to some kind of truth as possible. But today I'm not feeling terribly optimistic that we can teach people to think critically. At least I'm not optimistic about a lot of people learning how to think critically. But we at least have to give it a try, right? We have to continue to engage and challenge, and hopefully some people will learn how to question their own beliefs and think critically. So. Anyway, that's it for today. Please spread the word. If you like what you hear, tell your friends about us, your moderate friends, heck, even your liberal and conservative friends. We got to get the moderate word out there. Please follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Rise of the Moderates. Follow us on Twitter at Rise of Moderates. And I guess I don't know too much about podcasting, but they say that reviews are good. So we're on iTunes. Go give us a review, please. And you can also listen to us on Stitcher, Google Play, and of course riseofthemoderates.com for news and links and all kinds of good fun stuff. So anyway, thanks for listening.